Hello. In this video today I'm going to take a look at the Sega Game Gear that I recapped in a previous video, which is going to be up here. Now the smell of fish has finally disappeared from my nostrils, so I'm willing to take another look at this. Now what I want to do with it is I have gone and purchased myself from Retro 6 one of the McWill screen kits, which is this bad boy right here. I've also got a funky green case that I'm going to swap out and a clean power board which has a USB-C port. And that basically just means you can power it from any USB-C cable, and it's also supposed to deliver better power to the system. It should help improve battery life and just basically make it run smoother and more efficiently. That's the theory anyway. And I've also got a new screen lens for it. So I'm essentially building a new Game Gear. I'm going to take the board out of this one, replace the screen, and I also have a new speaker, because if you remember the one in this had been snipped for whatever reason. And then I'm going to put everything into this lovely green shell. Lovely. Got some new buttons for it as well, and some new membranes, and some shiny new screws. And I've also got me a Flash Gear Pro, which essentially replaces the cartridge and has an SD card, a micro SD card slot. So you can put all of the games that you legally own onto the SD card, and you can play them basically from one cartridge, which sounds good to me. And I thought I'd try and be really clever and put it inside this green cartridge, but unfortunately it's a different kind of green, so that might look terrible. In fact, I think it will. Luckily, I also have a clear one, which I think might look a bit better, or I might just stick with a regular black one. I'm going to be following these wonderful instructions that came with it. Now, I seem to remember when Vince did this, he had a few issues with some of the wiring because the instructions aren't very clear. I think they're not worded terrifically well. So anyway, I'll see how I get on. And the main reason I'm doing this is because when I repaired this Game Gear, whilst the screen... it's fine now, it works, but it's still very, very dim. I mean, you can see it, but it's just not... I don't know. It's kind of disappointing. I want to play it, and it looked good. So without any further ado, let's get cracking. So we're going to start by taking the board out of this one. It's very straightforward. We've got 4 crosshead screws on the back. And then we've got a game bit here, which on my toolkit is an M4. Alright, I've just snipped off, because I had to solder in the speaker from this permanently. And obviously I'm not going to be able to take it apart with it like that. And I am replacing the speaker anyway, so I've just snipped those off. Once we get down to this point, we've got another 11 screws to remove. Nice. The board just comes out, and then that is what we're working on. Now in the instructions you do need to remove this screen, but it doesn't tell you to do it until sort of halfway through, but I'm going to do it now because I don't want it flapping around in the way. So I'm just going to lift this tape. And then I think you can just peel this off, but I don't want to risk damaging it, so... I don't know, you can just peel it off. Right, it's off, but I've damaged it. So you do actually have to solder some of these points here, so I'm going to have to... I mean, it tells you just to peel it off, but clearly that's not the best way to do it. I should have applied a bit of heat, I think, to get that off. I'm just going to run my soldering iron across this and just try and tidy it up a bit. Right, the other thing I'm going to do out of sequence as well is I'm going to remove the fluorescent lamp assembly because, again, it's kind of in the way. There we go. And I am going to save that, because you never know, I might get another Game Gear with a fluorescent backlight problem at some point. Right, now that I've got it down to there, I'm going to follow these instructions. This is the twin ASIC model, so it's the two ASIC instructions that I'm following. As you can see, the PCB revision, this is the 8377996, which it says there. So I'm just going to go through and I'm going to do each of these in turn. Yeah, let's see how we get on. I'm not sure whether I'm going to use the soldering iron or the hot air or a mixture of both. I'm going to start with the soldering iron and just see how I get on. Remove R33. R34. R32. R30. R29. R41. R38. R44. And R43. Bingo. Okay, next we've got this L2 coil here. There we go, that's that off. Right, I'm not sure I'm going to get this off with the soldering iron, but I'm going to try. Remove Q6 transistor. Ah, there we go. Right, it says to remove Q2, but I don't appear to have one, so job done. Right, and now we've got Q3 and Q4, which are on the other side of the board. Now for these ones I am going to use hot air, because there's nothing around them. Wow. Do you know what? I think they're stuck down with maybe, yeah, that first one. I'm not sure whether there's some glue or something underneath, or whether they've leaked. Or it was definitely very, very stubborn. Certainly the first one. I'm going to tidy that up a bit. Right, well so far Q3 and Q4 were the most difficult to get off. Right, now we've got to remove these two capacitors here, C32 and C33. That's C32, and that's C33. Right, and the last bit of removing is these two fuses. We've got FU1 and FU2. That's FU1 and FU2. Right, I've just reconnected the batteries up now because we just need to check for voltage on two of these pins. Right, so we just power it back on, just temporarily, and then we go for pin 16, which is here, and then pin 35, which is here, and we've got 4.9 volts, which is nice. Okay, now moving my attention to this, and we just need to remove this post here, like so, and back to this board, and now we can just slide the new screen into place. Right, we need to solder two wires onto this board, one at VCC, which is here, and one at ground, which is here. Okay, and then we need to solder those two wires to the VCC and ground here. So the black one I'm using as ground. Just going to add a bit more solder to those 2 points. And we've got to solder a wire from T10 to T11 on the Game Gear board, which must be here. There's T11 and there's T10. Okay, now we're soldering one from clock 32 megahertz here to FB1, which is just here. Right, now I need to solder one wire from the GG-SMS, which I'm guessing is Game Gear Sega Master System, of the Game Gear mod to pin 42 of the cart slot, so that's around the other side. That's going to go to pin 42, which is the second one from the left here. Now we need to solder a wire from pin 1 of the thumb wheel, which is here. And then that is going to VCC, which is here. Okay, that's all good. And then we're soldering a wire from pin 3 of the thumb wheel, which is the ground. And that is going to the ground up here. So pin 16 on the cart slot where we did the other ground to. In fact, there's two pins next to each other which both go to ground, so it makes sense to do one to one and one to the other. Okay. Now we need to solder 3 wires from butt 1, butt 2 and butt 3 of the mod, which is here, to butt 1, butt 2 and butt 3 of the Game Gear board, which look like they're on the sides of capacitors. So we've got butt 1 is on the left of C29, butt 2 is on the right of C30, butt 3 is on the bottom of C28. Now just be careful on this bit because these 3 aren't in the order you expect them to be. It goes butt 2, butt 1, butt 3. So we'll start at the top with butt 2. And this one just runs to the side of this capacitor. And then butt 1, we run from here to the left of C29. Like so. And then butt 3 goes from the bottom one here to the bottom of C28, which is here. Like so. Right, now I think it's the fun bit. We've got to run wires from this old LCD connector. There are 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 wires to run from here. So I'm going to attach them to this part first, and then I can run them round to the mod board on the other side. In fact, I'm going to use the microscope for this. I'm going to use 6 different colours for this so that I make sure I don't get any of these mixed up. Okay, so the first one's going to go to pin 9. Right, the next one's going to pin 16. And the next one is pin 18. We're also doing pin 20, so I'm going to do that while I'm here. Doesn't look the prettiest, but it'll do the job. And then we need to go all the way over to 39. Okay, that's 39, so now we need to do 57. Right, there we go. I think they went on okay, actually. Right, I want to try and keep these wires tidy. So I'm going to put some heat shrink tubing over them, I think, because they're all going round here to this point here. So I want to try and keep them as tidy as possible, really. So 6 wires go to these 6 points here. I'm just going to tin them up. And I just need to make sure I don't get any of these mixed up. Okay. I'm really pleased with how they went on. Nice. So if I can just tuck this out of the way now. There we go, lovely. It's nice and neat. Right, I can test this now, can't I? Oh. Okay, that's enough. Right, I think it works. Obviously, there's no speaker in there. Oh god, that looked incredible. Right, I'm gonna put everything into the new case now. I'm gonna start by transferring the soundboard over. The power board I'm gonna replace with the clean power, the USB-C one. So I only need the soundboard out of this. Now obviously I've already recapped this soundboard, so it should have nice loud bright sound to it. Just remove those wires that I soldered on. If you didn't see my recapping video on the Sega Game Gear, this is the soundboard that I recapped, and it looks great. The surface mount components on it, they work really well, and they're much easier than the electrolytic capacitors. I'll pop a link in the description, but it's well worth watching. It's well worth doing if you are going to recap, in my opinion anyway. Nice. As you can see, this clean power board's got a little 3D printed piece that goes around the USB-C port. I mean, it's black. It would look better with the black case, but looks alright to me. Let's just pop the speaker in here. I've just noticed that I've got some black buttons to put in, and it comes with a black power switch, which I think would look better, because then all this along the top would be black. So I'm gonna put that in. Looks much better. Alright, I think we're almost ready for the most satisfying part. Ah, out of focus. Whew, that was nerve-wracking. Okay, so now we just need to put this back together. Wow. Well, it looks absolutely incredible as far as I'm concerned. I really like it. I did not think it would look as good as this. I love the green. Some people will probably absolutely hate it, but I think it's really nice. So I suppose the only thing left to do is to see if it works. Well, it comes on. That's a good start. Let's try Castle of Illusion. Ah! I'm really, really pleased with this. It looks incredible. It really does. If you've got one of these and you're tempted to do it, do it. It's well worth it. The screens are expensive, but the quality you get from it is just... it blows the original one out the water. It really does.